sometimes it's important for instructors to teach vocabulary up front before students actually read the passage. We know that we can't teach every single word in the text. However, it is important that we do teach those words that are most critical for student understanding. In doing so, we can also teach strategies that students can then generalize to other texts so they can teach themselves other words. For instance, if students use word parts, those parts of words that they already know, to determine the meaning of other words, that can be very helpful. Also, students may use the context of the text. That is, where those words occur in the sentence, and also punctuation associated with those words in the sentence to help them determine the meanings of words. We can help students to generalize, to use those strategies in a variety of texts to help them identify the meanings of unknown words. Okay, you have an article in front of you, and the title of the article is Want Safe Travels? Find Freeways with These Features. And before we read the article, we want to look at a few words that might help us to comprehend the text a little bit better. So what I'd like for you to do is you'll see that the paragraphs are numbered in the margin beside each one, and that's so we can reference them later as we discuss the article. It will also help us to find the words that we're interested in learning before we get started reading. And so I'd like for you to turn to the second page and look at paragraph 5. It's the paragraph at the bottom of your page. And you'll see the very first line of that sentence. We're going to read that line, and we're going to look at one specific word within it. So let me read that line aloud. It says, new BY research commissioned by the Federal Highway Administration shows a number of highway features that make accidents less likely. Okay, I'd like for you now just to highlight or underline the word commissioned in that sentence. It's in that very first line under the photograph, commissioned. Good job. And so now I'd like for you to take your pen or pencil and draw a line from commissioned out into the margin. And I want to share with you just a little bit about the origin of that word commissioned. That word came from the Latin committered. And so if you would, where that you drew that line into the margin, write the word committered, C-O-M-M-I-T-T-E-R-E-D, committered. When you see the word committered, what does that word kind of look like or sound like? What other words might be related to committered?
Commit.
Commit, yes. That looks very much like committered, doesn't it?
Committee.
Committee also looks very much like the word committered. Good job. That word, committeer, really means entrusted. That's the word we use now instead of commandeer. So if you would, draw just a short line underneath committered and write entrusted. Entrusted. And so when we think about committing to something, we're entrusting ourselves to that something, right? When we think about a committee of folks, we entrust in that committee to make decisions, right? That group of people. And so commissioned is also then, perhaps we could substitute the word entrusted. Let's see if that makes sense. So we're going to use some word parts, and we're also going to use the context of our text to help us to really get an idea of what the word commissioned might mean. So let's substitute the word entrusted. New BYU research, entrusted by the Federal Highway Administration, shows a number of highway features that make accidents less likely. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Good job.